Oops. Okay, so I'm a bit late today, but I thought I would drop in anyway, even if it's for a quick one, to connect and say hi. It's been quite a morning. It's the first day I've come back from work and it's not raining. So my poor dog was looking at me like I owe her money, and I thought, well, okay, maybe I do. So I played with him for a little while I was having lunch today, and it just took a little bit longer to get here than usual. It looks like it's going to keep raining all afternoon, so I just wanted to make the most of the time to spend with her, because they've been so bored, locked inside, you know, all week. They don't want to go out when it's raining. And so, my beautiful beings. I'll just wait a little bit and see if there's anyone around. See what message wants to come through today as we're sitting here. Yeah, try and get the glare off the book. It's hard to see otherwise, eh? Okay, just a little bit maybe. So how's your week been? For those of you who are going to catch the replay, how's your week been? How's everything going? I'm finding in my conversations there are a lot more pauses than there used to be. I feel that in that space now, people have time to allow the information to sink in rather than just talk, talk, talk without stopping. There's no need for every gap, every silence to be filled with noise. There's so much beautiful wisdom in the space between the sounds. And so I've been, editing the latest book, reading it over and over. And one of the beautiful things that's been showing up in that last book is when it talks about, it has this beautiful analogy of music, comparing it to life, our life, our human life. And when you listen to music, I've been teaching piano now for 30 years, but I've been playing piano for 45. So, I've been around music a lot. And even before that, I was singing a lot and listening to songs, writing down the lyrics. My dad had a cassette recorder. And so I would put the tapes into the cassette recorder and I would stop and rewind to write down the words so that I could sing along. I used to love singing along to my favorite songs when I was little. And what I've noticed about music, my daughter has this thing where we go through the dissonant sounds, the sounds that don't sound nice. They sound Actually, they sound yucky, you know, if we're going to put it some way. Might as well call it that. And in music, we call that dissonance. It doesn't sound nice, you know. But that dissonance has a purpose. That dissonance creates tension. And that tension pulls to be resolved, is the word. Resolved. It's looking for resolution. That tension, that dissonance is necessary. If you think about it, it's like looking at a clear blue sky every single day, forever, right? You're looking at this clear blue sky. There's never any clouds. There's never any rain. There's no thunderstorms. It's just a clear blue sky your whole life. What would that be like? There's no change. It's the same every single day. There's no wind. It's just this beautiful clear blue sky. And music is like that. It can't be just a clear blue sky. It needs the thunder, it needs the wind, it needs the rain to make it beautiful, to create this beautiful symphony, if you like. And your life is the symphony, but not all the notes are going to be pretty. Not all the notes are going to be perfect. There are a lot of notes that are dissonant. They create tension and they need to be resolved. And this is your life. So that was coming through this week, and I just thought that was so beautiful to look at. That our lives are not meant to be perfect. In every moment, everything is blissful, everything is joyful, everything is, I'm in love in every single minute of every single day. That's not what we came for. And that's where the grief comes in, that's where the shame comes in, and the guilt and all those other feelings. They're the dissonant notes. The notes that create dissonance, that create tension, that look to be resolved back into beautiful notes so that the music can continue. So as I sat with that analogy, and the other analogy that came through in the book is the painting, that we are a beautiful painting, we are a masterpiece. But when you look at a painting, you don't walk up to the painting and look at it pixel by pixel. You have to take a step back from the painting. You can't enjoy the painting if you're this far away from it. There's this big painting on the wall and you're this far away from it. How much can you see? This bit here. It's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be. But you take a step back and you can see more of the picture, and you take another step back. And if you take enough steps back, you can see the whole painting. And from this distance, the painting is perfect. But it's made up of thousands and thousands and thousands of little imperfect moments. And that's what life is. We didn't come here to be perfect. It took me a really long time to get that. We didn't come here to be perfect. We already are that before we come. Why would we come to be that? No, we come here to be messy, to make mistakes, to fall down and get back up again. This is the human experience. And it's all beautiful when you see it from the eyes of spirit. It is all perfect. Every imperfect moment, every dissonant note is beautiful, is perfect. You know, I sit at the piano now, and when I used to play as a younger one, you try to get off the dissonant notes as quickly as you can. You know, my daughter's the same. It's like, oh, I can't stand this sound. I need to get to the pretty sounds. I want to get off this sound. But as you begin to realize why those sounds are there, their purpose, you can actually sit with them and enjoy them so much more. They make the beautiful notes more beautiful just by being there. So now I understand why so many composers, they get to a spot and they create this dissonance and they pause there. They pause. It's a reflection. They allow that tension to sit because they know that when it resolves, it'll be all the more beautiful. You know? So today, you know, I think this came about, what's coming through today, because I was having a conversation with my friend, and she wants to be on this high spiritual level, away from all this humanness, where there is no pain and there is no suffering and just bliss. She wants to be in that state again. She really misses that state that we are in originally. You know, I feel like she really wants to go home here, you know, in this lifetime, but she really wants to go home. She really wants to be in that space of bliss and joy and constant unconditional love, you know. And as I was listening to her conversations, because our time difference doesn't allow for us to have one-on-one conversation, so we're constantly recording backwards and forwards to each other when we get a chance, you know. And for some reason, when she was talking about that, and she was, you know, kind of saying that I'm always bringing up the same stuff, the same human stuff, you know. But to me, it's not about... To me, this is not a lesser level, you know. Being human, for me, is what I'm here for, what we're here for. Most of us, we're here to have this human experience. This is the magic. It's not being up there, the guru on the mountain, with all the answers, with, you know, you can see clearly everything. It's nice to not have all the answers, to discover it for yourself. You know, that's the beauty of this life. But for me, all I could think of as she was talking, that she wants to be on these higher, in these higher realms, and doesn't want to be a part of this human experience anymore, I kept thinking of Jesus. For some reason, I couldn't stop thinking of Jesus, or maybe he was reminding me that that's what I'm doing here. Because just as he did, you know, at no point was he more than anyone else, or was he bigger than this experience. He knew what this experience was. He knew the magic of it, the beauty of it. You know, he knew that this is what we're here for. And if we place ourselves on this high level of consciousness, this high level of beingness, that we are above all of this humanness, we disconnect. There's no longer a connection with others that are here having this beautiful human experience. How can we connect when we're on this higher level above everything else? So for me, I'm happy to be in this level, happy to be amongst all the others that are in this level, having their beautiful human experience. Because if we're not in it, we can't connect. We need to be in it fully, in the suffering, in the pain, in all of it. We need to be so connected to it that we understand it when we see it. We have more compassion for it. We can connect. Otherwise, it feels like there's no common ground with others. It's like we're talking a different language. We're not even here. And yes, perhaps there are beings on this planet that feel that way, that they maybe are on higher levels, in higher realms, that can't connect to the level of humanness that we are in. But I am clear that this is my path, to be in this level where I can connect, where I can be a part of others going through the same. Not higher, not better than, not I don't want to be part of this anymore. Sometimes I feel people that have gone through especially really difficult childhoods and very painful, trauma and suffering, and it just seems like it goes on and on forever, are the ones that most want to leave this human experience and step into the higher realms. But then we're not, what's the word? We're not aware of the gift that this life is, that suffering, that pain, everything we go through is a gift to us, to our soul. It came to experience that. And wanting to be in the higher realms with our souls and not in this human experience is a disconnect. And to me, it's saying, I don't want to suffer that anymore. I don't want to remember that. I don't want to feel that anymore. And I get that. When there's been too much suffering, too much pain, I can understand why you wouldn't want to be so far away from it that you don't want to look at it anymore. But that suffering, that pain, all of that has made us who we are today. Without that information, we cannot assist others. If I've never suffered a day in my life, how can I connect with others who have suffered? It's through our experiences that we're like, oh yes, it resonates. I've been through that. I know what that feels like. Without that, there's no connection. If I'm on this high realm, in the spirit realm with my beautiful spirit team, and I stay up there and I never come down, it's a very lonely path. But it's a disconnect because I still have my physical body here. There's a reason I'm still here in physical form. There's something my beautiful soul wants to experience. And it can't do that if I'm in the spirit realm. The soul is already there in the spirit realm. So if I connect back to my soul and I go back to all of that, I've disconnected from all of this, which was the whole reason that my beautiful soul wanted to come here and took on this physicality. It came here, there was something it wanted to experience. It was gaining information, gathering knowledge from all these experiences. It can't do that if you disconnect and decide to go off with the fairies, so to speak. Yes, you can do that. But to me, that's running away. It's running away from your actual experience that you're having here. It's not understanding the purpose of this life. It's not understanding the reason that you are here in human form. So, my beautiful beings, it is beautiful to be connected to the spirit realm. Every time I've been there, I'm in bliss. I come back in bliss. And it takes me a while to readjust to this plane, to this dimension. But I have to remember, I am here for a reason. My soul wanted to come here for a reason. So I take each moment and I look into, okay. I allow my soul to look into, okay, what can we extract from this moment now? We work together. not as a separate entity anymore. And so every moment is filled with treasure. What can I get out of this moment now? You know, just this week, a few weeks ago, I told everyone, you know, that this beautiful being passed away. And I work with the elderly during the day to assist them to stay in their own homes. And I've been with this being for the last, I think, 5 years. And she passed away in March. And it was only this week that I plucked up the courage to go and see her husband, because every time I thought of going to one of the places that I used to go with her, I didn't feel ready. I felt like I was going to fall apart and start crying, because each place would remind me of her and all the beautiful memories we created together. And this week was the first week I had the courage to go and see her partner. And we sat and we had a cup of coffee. And it was such a beautiful human experience for me, that between us, we could talk about, we could share all the beautiful memories that we had created with this being before she left. You know, I would take her to choir on Thursdays. And on the way back, because she was a composer, she loved composing songs. On the way back, we would always get caught up singing something, you know, together, whether it was one of the songs that we were singing at the choir, or one of her songs, or just an old song from way back, you know, that we would have learnt in our childhood, or things like that. And I have so many of those memories with her coming back, and we would be singing songs every time without fail. You know, we would be singing songs. And that was really beautiful, you know, those memories. I find that the more time passes, the more this life is about the memories. That is what creates our beautiful painting, our beautiful masterpiece. Those moments where we allow ourselves to love completely. Every moment is part of that masterpiece. The dissonant notes in our symphony, when we grieve, when we feel guilt, when we feel jealousy, when we feel shame, when we feel... But those dissonant notes are necessary. They're not bad. They're not wrong. They're part of our human experience. What does it feel like to be jealous? What does that feel like? What does it feel like to grieve when you lose a friend or a partner or a loved one? What does that feel like? This is our symphony. It's all part of who we are. All of it. None of it is better than any of the other parts. It's all part of our beautiful masterpiece. So cherish all of it, treasure all of it. Because to your soul, not one part is more important than another. It's all part. And now, just now, they're telling me. To the soul, it is like a recipe. Every single ingredient that goes into making that recipe, that dish, is essential. Not one part is more important than the other. Not one. So, my beautiful, beautiful beings, remember that when you're in a moment and you're angry and you feel like you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't be feeling this, it's wrong to feel this. And instead, just embrace that moment. I'm angry. What does this feel like? Wow, I am so angry right now. Embrace that moment. Feel it completely. Because it is part of your recipe. We didn't come here just to be happy and just to be in love every single moment, or to be at peace. I remember my beautiful father-in-law trying to give me that wisdom many, many years ago, before my daughter was born. It's like 15 years ago. And I thought he was wrong. He was just missing the point. Why wouldn't you want to be at peace? But I remember him saying, if all we did was be at peace every single second of every single day, all our lives, it would be so boring. I didn't understand it then. I wasn't ready to understand it then. And it's not that it would be so boring. It's that we didn't come here just to be at peace. We came here for all of it. Just like when you're learning to ride the bike and you fall off. And you fall off many times and each time hurts. But it doesn't stop you getting back on that bike. This is life. All of it is part of your beautiful life, your beautiful symphony, if you like, your beautiful recipe. Whichever one of those resonates, your masterpiece, your painting. All of it is part of that. Without exception. There's not one part that we can say, oh, that shouldn't be there. It doesn't belong in my symphony. It doesn't belong in my masterpiece. Everything is there for a reason. Your soul carefully put it there for a reason. So, my beautiful beings, this is what it is to be awake to your human life. It's not about being in higher realms and we no longer need to be here. Like I said before, we're off with the fairies and we no longer need to be here in this human existence. No, to be awake is to love all of it. To love every experience. Because you chose all of it. All of it. You, your soul. This is what it is to have free will. So whatever you've been through up until this point, whatever you're going through right now, it's part of your beautiful masterpiece. It's part of you. You are the symphony. All right, my beautiful beings. So this is the message for today. And we'll let you sit with it. We love you guys very much. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we're sorry we were late today. Perhaps we missed most of you because we were half an hour late, but the recording will be there tomorrow. So you never miss it. It'll be there when it's meant for you. All right, my beautiful beings. Bye for now.